Good afternoon. So great to be here. I don't know where else I'd rather be, but with all you folks. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Ways and Means Committee. Could you please take the roll call? Here.
Lutz.
Here.
Krieger.
Excuse.
Witt.
Here.
Mikulin.
Here.
Ryder.
Here.
Rancid.
Here.
Thank you. First on the agenda will be the minutes of 10/1/19.
Move to approve.
Support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda will be public input. Anybody who would like to speak before this committee could please come up. I would ask that a couple things. Number one, that if as it pertains to the animal control, that will be handled at the full board immediately after this meeting. And I think that's all. I think that's the only other thing, isn't it? So. And the same thing with the on the Bangor DDA. That'll also be handled at the full board meeting also. So those two things. Any other thing you can speak about, and we'll be limiting our, I assume that there's going to be a lot of people maybe talking today, that we limit our time to 5 minutes. Other than that, anyone wish to speak? Seeing none, we move forward. Under Petitions and Communications, the Sheriff and the AT&T donation.
So moved. Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Prosecutor, contract between the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Bay County Prosecutor for services involving dependent neglect.
So moved. Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Court Administrator, acceptance of grant awards.
So moved. Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Deputy Court Administrator, appropriation to 2018-2019 Child Care Fund.
So moved. Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, Mr. Begay.
I just had a question. So this is over budget then? This is a extra supplemental, extra money?
Yes.
Hopefully, we're working on, Mac has been working on it for a long time, the child care fund, trying to get it taken care of, or I think they're trying to get the state to pay some of the upfront costs in some of the cases. So it's a sort of an ongoing effort to try to reduce the county burden for the child care fund. So.
Yes, that took place, it went into effect October 1st. So October 1st, state pays first began, and so the state will, from now forward, be taking care of all upfront bills. Yeah.
Hopefully that'll be better, less costly.
I think so. They'll see the big dollar signs first.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're all set. Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Director of Environmental Affairs and Community Development, establish of the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority.
So moved. Support.
Commissioner Coonan.
I saw Laura. I just got a quick question, Laura.
If you could get up here.
While we're standing, this is Janet Mahalik from the Department of Environmental, Great Lakes, and Energy.
Okay.
Who came up from Lansing to answer questions as well.
Reading this, if and when this brownfield is adopted, does the TIFA start immediately?
No. What would happen is that, and I'll just kind of give you a rough overview, and Janet, if you want to jump in back. The rules on establishing a Brownfield Redevelopment Authority have changed significantly since about the last time we attempted this about 15 years ago. They've gotten much easier. Thank you, Janet. And so they're not as prescriptive. So we can establish a Brownfield Authority without a plan, without any kind of a, firm, just very descriptive outline of work. But what happens then is that now they've realized that each plan and TIF would be site-specific. So quite honestly, until we get a project, there will be we don't need a plan or a TIF, tax financing plan either.
It's not like a downtown development authority or a tax increment finance authority where a district is established. It's site-specific, and it's dependent on whether or not a property is eligible or not. And there's like 5 different ways a property can be eligible. I don't know how much information you want, but.
Big meeting. So basically, like she
Come
said,
back and explain that.
yes, believe me, this is the first step in the process. There will be many steps. We'll be back, and Janet can go into much more detail, but just, I know you've got a busy meeting. The answer, the down and dirty of it, Commissioner Mikulin, is no, we don't, it doesn't start right away at all.
Commissioner Durancheck.
Thank you. Now, we set this up as a countywide. Does that affect anything whatsoever with municipalities that currently have brownfields? Can we work together with them on a joint effort, or would one supersede the other, or?
The local unit would supersede the county's board, since they have their own. If like a city or, I don't know which ones have their own, but if a city or a township or a village has their own brownfield redevelopment authority, that supersedes the county.
Okay.
Right, and that was done specifically, and I know there's been early outreach by many of you, have talked to many of your jurisdictions. Commissioner Ryder talked to Bay City, and the units are very open and agreeable, and they do realize that anything we would do would not disrupt their jurisdiction. In fact, what Essexville had a previous brownfield authority, and they were, again, unless you have a project, sometimes it's hard to keep these authorities alive, and so they're saying it's good timing for the county to do it because they were they needed to either resurrect their own or kind of join on with ours.
Go ahead, Commissioner Durancheck.
Just as a further comment, during one of the get-togethers with the Township Association, they were all, when I made the announcement, they were all really, excited about, having the opportunity because they didn't have, number one, the resources or the expertise on how to set one up. And so I think it's going to be a great thing for Bay County. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, and
Thank
I
you.
want to thank Janet and really to take just a moment. Oftentimes it's easy to beat up the state or the regulating authority, but the Department of Environmental and Great Lakes and Energy, Eagle, has been very, very helpful and will continue to be, right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Under F, Incorporation Counsel. This is the waiver of the ordinance adoption process.
So move.
Support.
Discussion. Commissioner Coonan.
Yeah, I just got one question. A lot of this was kind of foreign to me until I made a couple of calls, but it's my understanding that this group is the only non-union group at BABH. Is that correct?
I'm going to defer over to BABH and to Assistant Corporation Counsel, who is been dealing with them and the retirement system on this.
So all of BABH is non-union.
Except for this group?
This group, yes, and AFSCME withdrew their representation of the group.
Yeah, I don't know all the details, but I find it kind of how these 23, or these folks in Unit 23 were union and are the only group that doesn't have the higher multiplier. I can't figure that one out.
That was based on what they negotiated in their contract.
Well, or it's not what they negotiated, it's what you both negotiated. Everybody else has got the 2.25, yet they were union and they only have the 2 multiplier. I can't figure that one out. So all the other history that's going on with this, I'm not quite sure what's going on. It's a very small unit, I've heard, but I still can't figure out how you got one unit, it's a bargaining unit, and they've got a lower benefit than everybody else. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they're decertifying, I don't know.
I can't comment on that.
No, I just want you to know how I feel.
Okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On top of that, we have the retirement ordinance amendment for Bay Arenac Behavioral Health Authority, the multiplier.
So moved. Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. From the Personnel Director, renewal of agreement with Brown & Brown as Bay County's insurance carrier for workman's compensation and excess liability insurance coverage.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The Payroll and Benefits Supervisor, the 2020 ASC and stop-loss contract for 2020 renewal.
So moved. Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Department on Aging, the Rankey donation.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the purchase of service agreement with the Region 7 AAA.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have payables for general and center of arms.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Finance Officer, the analysis of the general fund equity for 2019. Need a motion to receive?
Motion to receive. Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Executive Directive number 2007-11, update. Motion to receive?
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And the GASB 84 notification, and possible budget adjustments.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Commissioner Coonan.
Jan, maybe you can give us a brief overview on this, if you would.
Sure. With GASB 84, they're asking us to get a better definition of what is being held in trust and agency accounts. And so we have to go through and, so we use them as holding accounts for funds that aren't ours. So this way, they're making us actually show a revenue and an expense on our books instead of passing it through the balance sheet account. So it's actually going to increase our expenses but have the revenue on the other side. So we're collecting a fee for something. Normally when we pay it to the state, it would just be a quick pass-through through our balance sheet and not be recognized as a revenue and expense. So the state is actually changing this, and GASB is actually going to make us put the revenues and expenses in total on our books.
Thank you.
So, yep.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The annual review adjustment fund balance budget stabilization for fiscal year 12/31/2018.
I move that resolution.
Support. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Information Systems Manager, travel request for Jason Mikulin.
So moved.
Support. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any referrals? Any unfinished business? And under new business, I have in front of us from the Personnel Department for Diane Jaworski to, as she transitions from the union to non-union for payout for vacation, sick, and comp time. Need a motion on that resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other new business? All right, any need for closed session?
Mr. Chair, I would request a motion for a closed session pursuant to MCL 15.268 subsection H to discuss material subject to the attorney-client privilege and otherwise exempt under FOIA.
Okay. Please take the roll, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Coonan?
Yes.
Ryder?
Yes.
Durant?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes. Motion carries. We are going closed session. Hey, is there any miscellaneous? Anybody got miscellaneous? Announcements? No announcements. We're ready.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.